live in just a minute.
Awesome. We just sent a tweet out with this invitation.
And we are now live.
Awesome.
All right, cool. Well, thank you everybody for coming and to our workshop here. We have Dimitri and Austin here with us today. Welcome. Thank you guys for being here from QuikNode. They're going to be showing us some really powerful stuff with setting up your own node and working with QuikNode. So we're really excited to have them. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you, Patrick. Really appreciate the opportunity. Thanks to the Chainlink organization for having us. And it's really exciting to be on with a hackathon and being able to share our resources and help onboard more people onto Web3, blockchain, and smart contract development. Yes, that's my partner Austin, co-founder of QuikNode as well. He's so in this workshop we'll be covering where nodes fit into the stack, how to get started with QuikNode, how to set up Web3 in your app, and then we have a super cool tool that we've been working on for the past couple of months that we haven't really announced, but you guys will get a first sort of sneak peek. It's called EtherFlow, and it's used for debugging things with your node, and soon coming will help you debug things with your smart contracts. So let's dive right in. Let me share my screen. One moment. All right, so we are QuikNode. We're a Web3 development platform. So we provide infrastructure, so the nodes, and we also provide abstractions, tools, and various assistances and abstractions to help you build your dApp faster, run your dApp easier, get to market quicker, and just overall have an edge over your competition. Our mission is to support and scale the Web3 ecosystem through infrastructure and tooling. We make building operating dApps easier, and we're also education first. So we do everything we can to provide resources for developers to get started. I know that it's kind of difficult to find any help or any guidance for building dApps or getting started. So we're addressing that through a number of initiatives like our blog, our newsletter, and our guides. And we also have a Discord chat room that if you have a problem or you just need someone to chat with about something you're developing, you can pop right in. We have a number of veteran developers hanging out in there, and they're always happy to help. So here are the links if you just want to jot them down real quick. On our blog, we have a bunch of resources from just articles, editorials, but also step-by-step guides on working with like Chainlink or a number of other blockchain technologies. Web3 guides, things like getting started with Web3, Python, Ruby, setting up Ethers.js, setting up Web3.js, running a blockchain explorer. So also really helpful A to Z guides. And the Web3 Vibes newsletter, which goes out bi-weekly. There we try to post everything that's happening, that's interesting, that's happening in the Web3 space to just keep you up to date. The feedback has been really good, and we feel that's one of the best newsletters out there. So let's dive right in. what are nodes? A node is a piece of P2P software, peer-to-peer software that maintains an up-to-date copy of the ledger. That's what you access to read data from the blockchain and append data to the blockchain. There are generally two types of nodes. There's a mining node used for mining, and there's non-mining observer node, which are the nodes that QuikNode runs, which just basically observe what's going on the network and keep the ledger up to date, and then serve those requests super quickly to the end user. According to ethernodes.org, there are over 9,000 Ethereum nodes, although I feel that number is quite conservative. I feel like there's a number of exponentially more nodes that are online, but perhaps not being announced or picked up by Ethernodes. So why do we need nodes? So nodes are gateways to the Web3. Like I said, to keep up to date information of the ledger, but they also can have all the archival data all the way back to the Genesis block. So if you wanted to know what the account balance of an address was, I don't know, 2 million blocks ago, you would query the node, and the node will have that data. So things like block and transaction info, account balances, smart contract details, smart contract events, including token transfers, and you also need a node to deploy contracts and send your transaction to it for broadcasting to the other nodes, to miners, etc. Where does it fit in your stack? So on the very top, you have users, and those users will interact either with a wallet software like MetaMask, or your front end, or the front end of your dApp, CryptoKitties or Etherscan. And those pieces of software will then either talk directly to a node, or they'll go through a library like Web3.js, Web3.py, Web3.j. There are many options out there nowadays. And then those will talk to the nodes, and the nodes are running a client, whether it's Geth or Parity, aka Open Ethereum, and there's a number of other flavors out there. This is how it would look. So you have your users, they connect through WebSockets or secure HTTP. The middleware is powered by QuikNode, and we serve the chain data from either Ethereum blockchain. We also support Bitcoin, and the most recent addition was XDAI, because the fees on Ethereum mainnet were just getting too expensive. So layer 2 is becoming more and more important. What is QuikNode API? QuikNode API is a global network of really powerful nodes. It's a high availability cluster of nodes in 6 locations worldwide, and we're always adding more locations to help speed that up. And it's auto scaling. So you as an end user, as a dApp developer, you don't have to worry, oh, do I have enough capacity? Do I need to add another node? Do I need to scale? You don't worry about any of that. QuikNode API abstracts all that. So you just focus on building your dApp, running your dApp, and we manage the node infrastructure. So, today you have 10 users, tomorrow you get featured on Oprah, and all of a sudden you have 10 million users, no problem. QuikNode API will scale with you. And there's also a number of middleware software that we built and tools that we built to make development easier. Middleware like cache acceleration and intelligent routing, so you can access historical data, archival data, trace data, and tools like metrics to help you understand your usage, and webhooks for monitoring smart contract events, so you don't have to build that entire infrastructure out by yourself. It's all hosted. You just fill out a couple of fields and click go, and those webhooks will be sent to you when the events are triggered. So the general rule is don't make users, customers, or developers do anything they don't have to. Let them focus 100% on their data and their applications. And that's kind of our motto, where we really want to streamline and abstract as much as we can to help you focus more on building your dApp, building the community, getting the dApp out there first, and running the best dApp you can. So all this magic that's going on the back end with cache acceleration, with us optimizing the node running, that's all to help accelerate the development process and accelerate the calls you're making to a dApp. I also want to mention that in my previous projects, we were working on content delivery networks, and we did research on response times. And even if you can optimize your dApp or optimize anything on the web by, I don't know, 100 milliseconds, 200 milliseconds, it makes a crazy difference in retention, in engagement. So speed matters, and that's why we take performance seriously, and we always try to provide the best or the fastest performance for our Ethereum nodes. Great, so let's take QuikNode for a spin. Let's do a quick demo. Let's go to QuikNode.io. Here is how you would create an account, but since we already have an account, we'll just go and sign in. Oh, am I still sharing the screen? No, okay, 1 second. Let me change the screens. Here we go. Right. So generally you would just sign up here, but since we already have an account, we'll just get right in there. Give a second. Got quite a bit of nodes. So this is how it would look if you're running multiple nodes. But let's go ahead and create a node. Let's choose our most popular plan, which is the Pro. On the top, you can select ETH, BTC, or XDI. And let's also add some webhooks. We're on mainnet. Anyway, so we have our metrics, which we're not really going to see much. We have our security settings. So if you want to whitelist your endpoint, or you want to shorten it or get rid of the authentication token, you can definitely do that. We have webhooks, which is what I mentioned earlier. If you need help setting up the webhooks, you can go ahead and check out our knowledge base. We have help and billing. So to get started, here are our nodes, our node endpoints, and this is what you would plug into your library or your code. And we have guides here on getting started and getting that integrated into your code. So let me just go ahead and send a few requests to this endpoint so we can put up some stuff on the metrics. Second, let's see if that comes in. Yep. All right, so there it is. It's working. What's happening here? Cool. Yeah, so this is how easy it is to get started with QuikNode. Generally, if you wanted to run your own node, you'd have to buy a cloud. Well, first of all, you have to find all the documentation for it. You'd have to buy a cloud server or a dedicated server, figure out how to set it all up by the command line, make sure all your arguments are in place. Yeah, and then to sync the node, it would probably take you weeks, if not months. If you're syncing an archive node, it'd probably take you a couple of months. So going with a Web3 provider like QuikNode definitely helps you get to market quicker, shortens your development time, and just abstracts a lot of the complexities with running infrastructure for dApp development. Cool. Let me switch back to this one. Cool. So that's a quick run through of getting started with the QuikNode platform. We'll send $5 in Ether to the first person who can tweet us the name of the car in the previous slide. So I hope you were paying attention. Austin, I'm gonna get this presentation over to you for introduction on how to set up Web3 and a demo of EtherFlow.
Hello. Yeah, so those two things are actually going to be the same thing today. We're going to learn how to set up Web3 using EtherFlow. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll start. So this is the QuikNode dashboard. As you are probably aware, we have many nodes internally. This is one of our nodes with all of our add-ons enabled. And we're going to go ahead and use that node to build or use EtherFlow. So EtherFlow is an open source project that we're working on. It's very early, but as you can see, the way that it works is you just paste in a URL and it will give you some high level information about your endpoint. So is this a HTTP node, a WebSocket node, the last reported block, what version you're using. And the cool thing about EtherFlow is it allows you to choose what library you're using and list all the methods that you can use with that library and the node in question. So you can use everything from trace to, let's say, get balance. And so what we'll do here is very quickly, easily, simply get the balance of a particular wallet. And as you can see, we sent the request and we received some hex number. A lot of the times when you are using an Ethereum node, you're going to get back something that is encoded in hexadecimal. So that's what we got. And we converted it using this handy tool at rapidtables.com. But that still gives us a number, and that number is in what's called Wei. So Wei is the base unit for Ethereum, and we're going to need to convert that into actual Ether. And you can see that 100 bajillion Wei is actually 0.1 ETH. And what you see here, I'm going to actually go back a little bit, is actually the code that you can use. So if you click this view sample code, you can see the code that actually does the thing that you just did with your user interface. You can see the code that calls the method that you constructed using EtherFlow. And so in this case, it's import ethers, set up a provider using the URL, and call a particular method with a particular argument. So this is actually how you would set up Web3, ethers, etc. We actually prefer ethers, but EtherFlow does support Web3 as well. So you can see all the arguments are plugged in for you. And so at a high level, that's pretty much how this works, but we also support tracing, right? So let's say that you wanted to trace a particular transaction that had happened, or replay all of the blocks in a particular, or all of the transactions in a particular block. So we'll run this trace call for the latest block. And one thing that we can also do is every time you change the pieces of information in EtherFlow, such as your Web3 URL, your method, the arguments to that method, the URL updates. So I'll show you that one more time, just because it's pretty useful. So when you type into these boxes here, the EtherFlow URL at the very top in your URL bar changes. So that means you can share the particular state of EtherFlow at any point with a friend that you're trying to get information to. And this allows you to collaborate more easily, right? You know, the reason that this feature even arose is because we actually had some issues where our users were copy pasting their code to us. And rather than have that happen, we wanted to give them a simple way to share what they're doing with their node. So once again, you can just copy the URL bar and send it on Slack, Skype, etc. And whoever you send it to will be able to see the same thing that you do and all the same arguments that you have in EtherFlow. So let's go ahead and actually try to run this trace replay of block transactions with the same arguments that we pasted in the other window. And of course, we're able to do that. You have a moderately interactive JavaScript console where you're able to break down the objects and see everything that happened with relative ease. And again, you might need to convert some of this stuff. And you also get the sample code, right? So you can see again here, we have all the sample code for you to use. So again, just more demo. You can get your block number. You can do pretty much anything you want. The one exception is we do not support smart contracts at the moment. So that means we do not support ETH_call or trace_call. But we could set up a filter, right? Like let's say we wanted to filter the latest block for transactions, right? And you know, sometimes setting up this code is a little bit difficult, but you know, with EtherFlow, you're able to just set your parameters and see exactly what that code would look like. So you can see that we set up a filter object and we pass it to ethers. And now we'll go ahead and click. And since we're on WebSockets, we should be able to see any particular transactions that are coming through. As you can see, we added the address to the filter, but we should be able to see any transactions that are coming through related to the address on the screen. So let's go ahead and just click and see if we have any transactions coming through. Of course, the last block had no transactions coming through related to 0x91b. But if we did have a transaction related to that address, it would show up here and you would be able to grab the sample code and import it into your code base. You can actually, you know, fetch information by block. So we'll take a block number from Expedition, which I think that block number might actually have been wrong, but we'll see. And we need to encode this block number as hex when we're using ethers. And so we've done that, and it needs to be prefixed with a 0x. And yeah, that block number was actually wrong. Cool. So a little bit more about EtherFlow. It is open source. So that means you are able to contribute if you'd like. We are working on smart contract support, and we need to support filters with Web3.js. We do think that this is going to be a useful tool for people of all skill levels, because we plan to support more than just Ethers.js and Web3.js. We hope to support ETH.RB, we hope to support Web3 Pi, curl, et cetera, et cetera. So you're going to be able to get starter code for all of those libraries just by pointing and clicking and copy pasting. So that's pretty much all I've got. I'd love to hear any questions that you have, and we'll go from there.
One thing I'd like to add, just for setting up the Web3 stuff, I'd like to share one more thing. So from our main website, we have the guide section, and if you go to the Web3 SDKs, here we have tutorials on how to set up or how to connect using Ethers.js, which we spoke about. If you're programming in Ruby, Python, and the other JS flavor, Web3.js, if you have any questions on how to get this set up, just head on over to our guides section. Also mentioned our blog stuff. Definitely a good place to come and check out the articles that we have. All right, I think we fielded one question that was typed in. Patrick, how can we address any additional questions?
Yep, I'm looking on YouTube right now for any other questions. I don't see any other questions, so I think that this is great. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for being here. It looks like we got a lot of feedback saying that this has been very helpful. So thank you guys so much for being here. Excited to see what everybody builds, and they can use QuikNode to help get their applications spun up even faster. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Patrick, thank you. Thanks to all the attendees, and once again, thank you to the Chainlink organization.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Take care, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.